Hi guys, Brendan Jones here. Welcome to the very first video of this new channel, which is called Divine Comedy. I live in Italy, so that should be self-explanatory. Now, this first video, which is called Polenta, might lead you to think it's a cooking channel, but it is not, although cooking will play a fairly large part in what I do, as it does in Italian life in general. But it was just the first thing I was doing. In fact, this is more of a proof of concept or proof of technical concept video than an actual video with a whole story arc and so on and so forth, because I really didn't know what the hell I was doing. It's just a way of testing out whether I've learned enough of the video program, the editing program, to put together something that even remotely readable, watchable. Anyway, so I'll see you at the end of the video and enjoy. That's possible. Bye. Okay, we're going to do a little polenta with this wonderful broth I made yesterday. We'll do a shot of that at some point. It's too much, so I need to take a bit of it. Lovely clear chicken and beef broth. Okay. Here. Turn it on and get that boiling. Let me check for salt. Nice. Now we have polenta. It's basically cornmeal, I guess. We got this from a friend of ours from Udine in Friuli in the north of Italy, which is the home of polenta, I would say. And we've been keeping it in the freezer because she bought us too much of the stuff. So once this gets boiling, I'll bring it down to a little simmer and then we'll pop it in. Okay, so. Alright, so the broth now is at a low boil. I've opened up the little package. And I'm sorry, I'm going to buy this by eye. You can't see the amount of broth in there, so let me get a wooden spoon here. And we'll pour that in. I'm going to pour. I'm going to pour. I'm going to pour. Oops. It's a problem with holding all with one hand. Okay. Now we'll mix that up. So take a look at that. Now, there's a bit of a myth. I don't know if this has come to other countries or it's just a thing in Italy, that you have to keep stirring it constantly while it cooks, which is 40 minutes. So that could be, an incentive not to do polenta. But I used to teach English to the Italian army, and my students at the end of the course would take me out to dinner, or during the course we would, have some sort of other festive occasion. And once I went to the house of one of my students, and his mother took me aside and said, don't worry about all that. That's just for men. They like to, keep themselves busy and doing all that sort of mixing, stirring, and so on and so forth. What you do is you reduce it to a very, very low heat, which I will do shortly now that I've got all the lumps out of it. And you just leave it, let it go. Just let it cook. Every 10, 20, 15 minutes, you give it a little stir if you want to. Other than that, you just leave it alone and it will cook all by itself just fine. So, Get rid of that. And now I'm going to reduce the flame to the very low. Put the top on. Oh, that's hot. Now, I've never cooked polenta in this cast iron pot, but I don't think that should change things dramatically. We'll see. I don't know how the conductivity of the heat and so on is, but it should be okay. So we'll see, at the first mixing what happens. So now we're going to take a look at the polenta. It's been going for about 15 minutes. It's looking good. It's not sticking too much either. That's nice. Lovely. Since I'm using this meat broth instead of just plain water, which we can also do, we'll look at that some other time. It's a little fatter, greasier, if you will, than your normal polenta. But I'm just gonna eat it like that without adding anything else to it. I'll show you that later. That's lovely. Alright. So that's been about 20 minutes, and we'll just put it away now for another 20 minutes. A little taste. Oh wow, that's nice. Still a little grainy, but in a little while that'll be just fine. So, it's been about 40 minutes or so now. So we'll take a look. Off the lid. And it is hell. Ooh, it's looking nice and smooth. You guys gotta take a look at this. Yeah. Look at this. It's so smooth. I'm gonna give it a little taste. I think another 10 minutes. It'll be just perfect. That's nice. Almost there. And this cast iron pan, I think it says at the beginning that I had never made it in this before. I've only a little bit of sticking to the lever in the middle. Because usually it has a whole layer of crust, a whole crust that forms at the bottom, which protects the rest of it and so on. But this cast iron seems to distribute the heat very nicely, protect from the worst of it. So only the very center where it's over the flame directly has got a little bit of a crust. This is looking good for the future. Alright. A little mitt. And there you go. See you in a bit. So, the polenta is done, and we take a little look at it here. Very creamy. We'll pour that out in a little while. Let it set for a bit. Next, chard. Well, sorry about that, there is no chard. There was chard. I actually did cook it, but I realized, I found out that nobody was coming home that evening. And so I was just cooking way too much food. So I stopped. And I cut it down, and it's probably just as well. Anyway, you will have seen that I have resolved a number of problems, namely, I cut my hair, and I got a proper tripod. So I'm not squinched over trying to fit myself into the frame, and you can actually see now what's going on the pots and so on the stove. Anyway, so that's what's gone on so far. If you liked it, if you're intrigued, I know that's a pretty big word, give it a thumbs up. Click on, maybe you might even want to subscribe. And by the way, I will work on my diction, make things I have to speak a little more slowly. So far things have been completely unscripted, and we'll try and deal with that as well. So anyway, I'll try to get another video up as soon as possible. Bye bye.